Hi, hello to anyone watching this in the hindsight of the future. This is a game that was arranged through the Gauntlet, which is a community on the internet that gets together, plays cool role-playing games, tabletop role-playing games online. You find them at gauntlet-rpg.com. They do forums, they do blogs, they do podcasts, a lot of podcasts. They do a monthly zine, of which they publish, supplements to games and their own original games, of which one we're playing today. More on that later. And there's the Hangouts calendar through which this game was arranged. This game was published in the aforementioned zine called Codex. This game is called Trophy. It's a dark fantasy horror game loosely based on Cthulhu Dark, and we're taking elements from Blades in the Dark, published in Codex Dark 2. It is a game of treasure hunters, of doomed scoundrels looking for wealth, power, something that will make their life better. And to do that, they go into some legendary ancient forest to try and seek their providence. But in the end, the forest claims everyone who enters. Most never return. Those that do come back with their minds and bodies broken. So for the three of our players here, you'll fight to survive, but know that you will be marked. You will be claimed. You will be the forest's trophy. So before we jump into the game, let's get to meet our players first. So let's just introduce yourselves. We'll get to characters later, just like your name and pronouns, and I shout out a cool thing if you want. If not, that's perfectly fine with me. I'll go by the order I have here on my screen. David, would you kindly introduce yourself? And I don't know, maybe you wrote maybe you should plug something that's related to this game. I don't know, just saying.
Indeed. Hi, my name's David. I'm based in the UK. I use he, him pronouns. So I've, as Leandro just alluded to, I have published an incursion, which is sort of the term they use for like a module or an adventure or however you want to call it, for Trophy in this month's Codex zine, Codex Glamour 2. If you want to check out Codex, then you can check out that one. This is a good one for a good month rather for Trophy fans, in fact, because there are two incursions and bits and pieces in Codex Glamour 2. I'm not saying mine's necessarily great, but Louise has done an awesome one as well, so check that out.
Definitely, there's going to be a link down below specifically to where you can get Glamour 2, which is on the Gauntlet's Patreon. There'll also be a link to Dark 2, where the original rules for Trophy are. And yeah, check all that out. Up next, Erez, would you kindly introduce yourself?
Erez, him. I don't really have anything to plug because I don't have that much of an internet personality. But just glad to be here. The first 10 games of the Gauntlet still, so I haven't reached 10 yet.
Well, still glad to have you. Hope you have a fun time. No. There will be fun times tonight, for sure. And last but not the least, Sabine, kindly introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, I'm Sabine. I use any pronouns. I'm based in Germany, and I would like to plug the Oli Jeffries game. I have no idea how it's pronounced. I pronounce it Quietus, but I don't know if that's right. It's a game of melancholy horror. I playtested an early version and it was very good. There's a Kickstarter still running, so if you like horror, go see. I'm back.
Cool. Links down below as always. I should have introduced myself during watching this. My name is Leandro. I use he, him pronouns. I don't have anything to plug. Watch out for next month's Codex. I might have something there related to this game. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, before I start sweating about that, let's talk about safety first before we get into the game, because again, as always, safety is terribly important, especially playing games of what could be dark, terrible, unsettling things. It's good to know people's boundaries and to know what we have to make sure people are playing in a safe and comfortable environment. So we've got lines and veils. Lines are things that won't be crossed, won't show up in fiction at all. Just no go. Veils are things that can happen in fiction, but we're not going to concentrate on it. We'll just throw a veil over it, so to speak. We'll fast forward, and then we'll move on and try and not concentrate on it. Then we also have the X card, which basically means that if we do go into a scene that makes folks uncomfortable for whatever reason, it could be any reason. Any reason's fine. You can say you want to play the X card. Say you want to X card that, or make a symbol, or on the chat or on our roll for your party. There's a button there. Maybe I'll ask some specific details on what's being X carded, but no one gets the question if it's played. If it's played, it's played. We'll roll back, we'll rewind, and start over. And finally, we have an open door policy here on this table, which basically means if folks need to step away for whatever reason, emergencies, you were just more tired than you thought, or you need to go, use the toilet, we're all human here, and you just need to step away, even for like 5 minutes. You can ask for the game to be paused, and we'll take a break. And you can call that at any time, even if like I just called the break and like we come back and they're like, oh shit, I need to like, I don't know, let the dog out or let the dog in or hug my dog. I don't know. That's totally fine. If you want to pause the game to hug your dog, that's completely fine. Oh, great. That just made me wish I had a dog to hug now. And let's get into this game. So, trophy. The way you play this, like as mentioned, there's multiple incursions. Mentioned David has one themed around glamour, which is fun. The one we're playing is written by Jim Crocker at Jim Likes Games. Link to all his stuff below. He does a lot of stuff in America. And it's called the Flocculent Cathedral, and it's themed around moss and religion and about things that, not so much things that bump in the night, but things that crawl into the night. So normally, in most games, I'll ask you how to introduce your characters and whatnot and go through like their backstory and something like that. But here, it's best to like unpeel that as we go along. So I'm just gonna have an opening shot of the beginning of the opening of this forest, this mangrove swampy mess of a forest, and then I'm gonna ask each y'all by order of the character keeper to like describe how your character enters the scene, give them a name, what kind of like what they look like, and also because your characters have rituals, spells, so to speak. But the thing with spells and trophies that they are game changers. Well, they could be to an extent. I do kind of like have you all added detail of like what your character looks like under like having undergone that ritual of being able to use that spell, like just a small detail. But yeah, you feel free to describe a character as like as cinematically as you want or just as small as you want. That's perfectly fine. What are they doing? I guess I should set the scene of where they are at the start. So this forest, which has no name, all folks know is, of course, that within this marsh, this swamp, is the Flocculent Cathedral. And within it are the relics that, well, are worth quite a bit in the outside world. I'm imagining this scene as like, it's noon, the sun is high up, it's desperately high, this pearlescent orb of like just heat. It's uncomfortable, it's sweaty, and the journey towards the edge of this forest it's not been the most comfortable. It's a cramped, dark, probably not dark, dusty sort of journey, but the three of you have made it there at the mouth of this forest. And yeah, actually, instead of just going by character keeper, who wants to go first? I gotta wait to introduce their character.
I can do that because I am playing Jacinto Moss. Jacinto is the kind of person who, well, he is exhausted and he is not used to hiking around. You can clearly see that by the way he's sweating and he's limping, and maybe his clothing is not exactly the best type for hiking. it's not, I mean, you can travel in it, but it's a bit more ornate than it should be. But that's because he is, as he has told you, the chancellor of the Lyceum of Yogyakarta, which is very important. And he is an important man there because he's the chancellor, of course. He's taking a sabbatical. And he's talkative. And he talks about himself a lot. You might have noticed that. That's because he's just such an important person, of course. And he has done stuff like that before, he says. Going into ancient cathedrals and gathering up relics and bones and stuff like that.
All right, who wants to go next? Who's responding to Jacinto?
Yeah, so I think Alicia doesn't seem similar to Jacinto. I wouldn't say, but there are certain similarities between them. Alicia is also he's dressed in sort of traveler's garb, but he's quite tall but quite thin with it. So the kind of the clothing he's got kind of hangs off of him slightly loosely, and it doesn't look built for someone of his build. He's got his skin is quite darkly tanned, but he's got very pale, almost white hair that's very long and currently tied back in like a long braid down his back. Likewise, he seems unused to dealing with this sort of terrain, though he has a certain natural grace to his movements. He's just not quite used to this, particularly this sort of swampy underfoot of the forest as they're coming into it. He looks quite young. Or at least I imagine compared to Jacinto, who I imagine is somewhat older. He's amiable enough, but not the most talkative of people.
Cool. And also, can I ask that you all put your character's pronouns in the sheet? So I'll just said no. But yeah, our last character, what to make of your compatriots, Eris. What do we see of your character?
Okay, so Sybil would be, I guess, bigger than the other two. Not necessarily taller, but much more well-built. He's not a weak person. He has been going around for a while now. He is known as a messenger. Like, he passes things from one place to another, and you need to be pretty strong for doing that on foot. He has hopes. Something that he intends to bring, but he doesn't speak much about what he's doing here because it's probably looked down upon. There was once a cult of some sort of god called Derawan, and people don't really talk about that anymore unless it's as a joke. But he wants to bring that back. He looks extremely serious, stoic, just stands there and looking ahead at the way, looking at his two compatriots, uncertain what to make of them really, and uncertain how to behave with them. But he has something he wants to achieve, and he will achieve it.
All right. So I want to know, like, so I'm guessing, like, yeah, you probably all traveled here together, but before you all came to this place, what stories have you heard of the Flocculent Cathedral?
As I'm a historian, I have heard, of course, of the tremendous riches that are hidden within jewel skeletons, overgrown with all kinds of gems and gold. But what's more important even, they said that there is an entire library there of religious texts and such like. They're probably all, well, rotted by now, but who knows? We'll have to find out.
Yeah. Probably to find out if they're pristine or not. What about Eliseo and Sybil? What have you heard about this place?
I didn't hear much about it, except for the fact that it's somehow connected to the world in a very mysterious way, and it might have what I'm looking for, the source of bringing back my god, basically. Like, it's somehow connected to everything.
Could it be connected? I don't know. Could it be? I don't know. Eliseo, what have you heard? You must have heard something about this place, given your background.
Yeah. So I've heard that the obviously it was an important holy site before it fell into its current state of disrepair. And as such, it has drawn a number of powerful spirits to it who now live within the ruins of the cathedral.
Cool. So yeah, so the ground here, this is where the dusty hard ground starts turning to mush as you walk up to and I think I'm imagining these big gnarled trees growing out of what looks like mud and slop and whatnot, but there is a path in the middle, and it's hardened by wood and vines and whatnot, and if you test it, it's fine. Test it against your boots. You realize that the swampiness is seeping through, but you probably don't notice that because right in the just roll this. There we go. Yeah, right in the middle of the path here, there's just this head, this ancient colossal statue head, just what looks like it was torn out of its neck, lying face up, kind of on the ground, on this, looking up at the sky, just sunken in the wet soil, and you can see that its mouth is open in this tremendous scream as it within the mouth kind of bubbles this algae scummed water, it's just brackish and greenish, and it's it's almost like it's foaming out of its mouth, and you also feel you see a cloud of dragonflies, just green and blue sparkling above it, just manic as you kind of behold this. I kind of want to know because let me check my notes. Do you recognize the statue, Jacinto, given you're a historian and whatnot?
Yes, of course. It's ancient Caldurian material. It's clearly sixth period under the Wizard King. Blah de blah. I will, of course, relay some of this information. I will also relay that the ancient Wizard King was, purportedly at least, one of my ancestors. That is not him, obviously. There's no familial likeness. Except maybe the nose.
I like this image of Jacinto is doing all the talking, or 32 of yep, okay. So no one's gonna respond as you kind of pass by the statue, and you can see the dragons are oh, go on, Eris.
I was going to answer. So where is the Cathedral. It's a very nice statue and all, but
I am sorry, I didn't get that acoustically. Sorry.
so where is the cathedral? It's a very nice statue with a very nice story. Where is it? Why? Should be here.
Well, it clearly is along this way which we are going.
Not going fast enough.
Patience is a virtue, I've heard, but you're right, we should hurry. Maybe there are other people looking for this. I saw these weird-looking, wild-looking, rubber-like persons at this inn back there, and they were giving us fishy looks, you know?
Yeah, we better be there first.
I think you are right. Then follow me, good man. And I'm looking to you to go first because you look stronger and bigger.
Mm-hmm. And I do.
Okay, so yeah, you pass by this statue. You can see the dragonflies are they're just busy. Well, they're more than busy actually. If you pay attention, you'll notice that they're actually in mid copulation in air as they flit above you above the statue. It's just this frenzy. There's life in this place, I think is what you're all noticing. There's just a cornucopia, and you can feel it as you walk, as you kind of walk by this path and find yourself like in this like dizzying maze of like mangrove trees. There's dappled leaves, and you hear like the stinging of myriad insects just out of your reach. And I think it doesn't take long as you're gonna walk in and you see like, oh, suddenly there's a lot of paths branching, but you're not gonna be lost because you hear songs kind of in the distance. You hear, no, not just songs. You hear voices. You hear we hear what sounds like of some rather coarse gentlemen out in the distance just singing shanties, song ballads, as you kind of like walk through this maze. And there's strange thickness to their voices, I guess, is what you probably notice as as you hear them like sing drunken songs, shanties. And what y'all notice, like, these songs are all about the cathedral, about your poor souls who went into the Flocculent Cathedral and found their way but squandered the riches that they found in the gloaming mire, and just lost it all, won it all. You know how it is, songs telling tales or whatnot. And I want to know from each of you what songs, what bit of verse kind of like remind you of why you're here. Oh no, of where you came from. And how do you think that reminder will let you avoid what fates you hear from these songs? I think very much you hear the color of the voices is like a horse sort of hacking, yo ho ho ho. That sort of like that there's a hoarseness to the voices, and almost like there's a tinge of desperation. But yeah, what bits of song do you hear that remind you where you came from, and what you can learn from these songs?
I think I hear something in those songs about faith, about belief. Which reminds me where I'm coming from.
What's a bit of the song that like you hear that you're kind of taking to yourself as like advice on what not to do, or how would it help you avoid the fate of anyone else who's motivated only by greed? Because you're not, Sybil.
Yeah.
You're not motivated by greed.
Yeah, that's basically what I hear. Come here with an actual reason, not just wish for riches. That's basically what I get from it. Have a true, selfless request from this place.
Nice. What about Jacinto and Elisio. I mean,
Yeah.
oh, go on.
So I think I hear a very different song to, or I notice a very different song to Sybil, and I hear a song about being lured by a false god, or by the delusions of someone believing that they have a god speaking to them, and it reminds me of the deluded fools back home. But I know that I won't fall for such trickery, because I'm cunning and wise to the ways of tricksters and the like.
I think those songs, they remind me of the gutter snipes in the beautiful city of, what's its name, Yogyakarta. That was almost like they were singing when I got driven from the Lyceum, but who's thinking about that? And that is just a temporary setback anyway. And I am so far above these gutter snipes. I mean, I am Jacinto Moss, right? That that is ridiculous that I'm thinking even about this. These are just low-class people, and I'm not. So I will overcome this, because how could I not? I'm so fabulous.
Wow. I'm glad you've made a character that I'm quite eager to offer up to the forest. Yeah. So you follow like these voices, and as they rotate through their playlist, so to speak, you'll finally come across, like, just on the edge of what looks like, the edge of a path leading towards a clearing. There's what looks like a bundle of rags, with like a battered helm on top, just kind of like rocking back and forth at the edge. And then they see the three of you, and he stands up, this person in the rags, who is not quite a bundle, and he's holding like this, like, a battered spear, and he just points it at you. It's like, stand and deliver. Who comes?
We, my good man, are pilgrims on a holy journey to see the Flocculent Cathedral and pay our respects to the ancient gods.
Says you. What of your companions?
Oh, we are all pilgrims, of course. Hopefully.
Yes, what he said is fine. That is true.
And besides, if we had anything worth stealing, we would hardly be in this swamp.
If I think he when you say that, he does laugh, and he puts a spear out. But then, well, you must know then, fated pilgrims, that all those who wish to see Congress with the Flocculent Cathedral must pay tribute to its holy denizens. The denizens being myself and my compatriots.
We will, of course, give you our prayers and our thoughts. They are with you, my good man.
Prayers and thoughts don't warm beds for shit, my good sir.
It is not a trivial thing. Don't you believe in the gods? You call yourself guardian of a cathedral. Really? My good man. You are clearly in need of prayers and thoughts.
Yes, I should describe that. He has this, like, he has a ragged red beard that's going gray. He looks a state. and you can see that it looks like his face is just recently dried from having swam through the swamp. Like it's grotty in quite ways. And I think what you're doing here isn't though. There has to be some sort of role here. I don't think you're trying to schmooze your way through this.
I'm trying to
Are
lie.
you?
I'm trying to lie through my teeth.
Shoot, as you are well used to doing. All right,
I'm
cool.
very good at this. So I roll one of the light dice, right? Or two?
Yes.
I'm confused.
One. You
Just
take one
one.
light die if the task is something you're skilled at because of
Yes.
your occupation or background. You can take a second one if you accept a devil's bargain from myself or another. Or you can add a dark colored die if you're willing to risk your mind or body in order to succeed.
I would accept the devil's bargain if I like it. I mean, I don't mind devil's bargains. I can cheat the devil.
Okay. I think what's going to happen is like, well, no matter how well the roll goes, him and his compatriots will be, well, let's just say they were willing to let you join in the revelry beforehand, but because you're here spouting with your silver tongue, if you do manage to get in, they're gonna have their weapons drawn. If anyone else has any devil's bargain they want to offer, that's other players can offer bargains as well.
I don't care for drawn weapons. These seem fine people. Probably. I'll take the devil's bargain. I'll just roll, right? Yeah, I got a 6.
Cool. So that's 2 light. Oh, God. Wow. Oh, all right. Okay. So I think you say all that. Your man here says, you mistake our appearance for a lack of faith, good sir, but all who come here learn to become supplicants to the Flocculent Cathedral. Who am I to who are we to deny the three of you a chance to make congress with the cathedral? And yeah, I think he's gonna move the spear and just he'll move the spear to like direct it towards like, okay, going through the clearing. And in the clearing is a rather pathetic camp of 4 people. Just there's a bunch of revelers who look like they've been here for a while. Their tents are soaking. There's a few open chests of open barrels of what's probably like food and whatnot, and they're all kind of gathered around a campfire. Actually, no, it's noon. They won't be gathered at a campfire. Though they are drinking profusely. You see like a few of them are drinking, and then there's one of them is doing a jig in the middle where the campfire is meant to be. But as soon as the 3 of you kind of like enter, the 3 who are around the 4 who are just like blah 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 blah, been clapping and dancing. They stop and look at the 3 of you. And so the weird thing is, even though this camp looks, fairly well and whatnot, they look well fed. They look alive, far more alive than they probably should be. They wear a mishmash of like raiments and militia regalia. 2 of them are kind of like go to like their swords next to the hilts and kind of like just open up like the hilt to like, just show a bit of the blade, although you can see like there's like notches. Those blades aren't worth shit. And I think the one who's still dancing, Eliseo, you'll notice that they're doing this sort of bastardized sort of dance that you'd once done before, something far more regal than this place, like, would permit. And you see that this person dancing is dressed in like the ruins of what you recognize to be like the regalia of the swirling court. And then he's still dancing. Everyone's just kind of like looking at the three of you. It turns to like ta-da, and then you see the three of you. Ha! And one of them who has like a sword out that says, "More pilgrims for the cathedral." Aye?
You could say that.
Well, why else would you come to this festering hole in the world? My dear pilgrims, I think this one is like wearing what looks like burnished sort of armor that looks like it has been through a few wars or so. And he's peering at you, and he's got this headband on, and he's all we make this offer for those who have been given passage, and our good spearsman Willie seems to have given you passage. But we always make this offer. Come sit, join in our revelry. Forget this cathedral, for it will do you better to do so. Best while away the day while you're still breathing.
No, that's not where we're supposed to be.
Pray tell, where are the three of you supposed to be?
Closer to the cathedral by now than I thought we would be.
Such fire. I pray you will not burn yourself out once you get there. I hope your two companions would keep watch, that they not be singed in the process. And looks at Jacinto and Eliseo.
Ah, my good man, don't worry about us. We'll go there. We'll take a look. We'll see what's what. And maybe, from what I hear, that is quite a building, this cathedral. Maybe might be rebuilt even. Huh? What do you think?
The cathedral, good sir. Well, the cathedral stands. That's all it's always done. It stands, no matter how many flock to it. Well, if you will not take us up on our offer, and he looks at you, Jacinto, and he looks at you, Sybil, and he looks at you, Eliseo. Well, best be on your way, then. Is there any parting messages you'd wish to leave for us, in case the path back is fraught?
You look very lively, but I sense wrong in your future.
Dear sir, for us there is no future. There is only revelry. And he takes a flagon and just downs it all in one drink, just really sloppily, and like rivulets going down his armor. And yeah, and they just go back to the dance, to their nonsense. And the dancer's like, you just look Eliseo and just shrugs and starts dancing a jig that honestly you probably have danced in front of, like, I don't know, thousands of other people with much more grace than that. It's disgusting to look at, to be honest. Yeah, so make your way past this group and you exit out of the mangrove maze, and it's now like, it's not less of a maze. It's not like just a straightforward, like, sort of walk, but it's all marshy. Your movement slows, and there's brambles everywhere, and just trees, just stunted or whatnot. And well, if you thought dragonflies were quite were fine to let you pass along, what you notice here as you kind of make your way through the marsh, through the muck, there is a lot of things in here. There's just buzzing and biting as you kind of make your way through the marsh, and there's okay. So it's rough going. Like, I guess I want to ask, how does it feel like? Because I want to know then, if are any of y'all used to, like, hoofing it, so to speak. I want to hear from, like, Elisio, if you've had experience kind of, like, being out here in nature, and what does it feel like now to be in here as, like caterpillars are slithering through your boots as you kind of walk through this marsh.
Yeah, Elisio hasn't really had much to do with the natural world since he left his village at a young age to go to the city, and this is an unwelcome return for him. He sort of flinches away, particularly from the more living aspects of the terrain as they sort of buzz around him and crawl over him.
Ugh. Yeah. What about Jacinto with the presumptuous last name?
No, he's never been in the nature thing. Mankind has been trying to get away from nature for a reason, really. And he's reminded of that reason pretty well right now, because this is just, ugh, he doesn't like it. And his feet hurt. And, well, somebody else should do this.
Makes me wonder why he's the one who's here doing this. I guess we'll find out. And Sybil.
Evil people.
Evil. Terrible people.
Yeah, he's been through nature. He's been through life. In fact, he probably goes to, like, one of those, and there's a bag on their back, and he picks it up and puts it aside or something. Probably something a little poisonous or something like that. Like, he picks it up, removes it. Shouldn't have that on you. He doesn't care at all about nature. Even if he did, he just doesn't care about anything right now. He has a...
Nice. So I guess you're probably taking point then, since you're kind of like, this is kind of what you've done. I want to ask how you navigate your way out of this, like, marsh, as, like, all these insects that's, like, these buzzing bees and flies, they're growing stronger. It feels like the vision of all of y'all is getting more and more crowded with things. And I'm assuming, Sybil, then you're leading.
Probably. I think it's some sort of mix between, when he looks around, he sees how things are. He knows how nature usually behaves. He knows why bugs are here and why bugs are there. So together with this, some sort of inner sense where he knows where he's going, like, he knows, like, what he's supposed to do. Like, it's nowhere. He's seen this. Like, this happened in his mind many times, in his dreams. Like, he knows what he's supposed to do.
Nice. Yeah, I wanna see risk. I wanna see a risk roll from you, like trying to navigate this place, and this will determine how well you drag your other two compatriots who are clearly city-dwelling, lily-livered, soft bellies. Sorry, going through this place. So the nice thing with you being a messenger is that you're skilled at navigation, so you get at least one die. All right. So you can get a second die, light die, if
Devil's
it's a
Bargain.
bargain, or you can add a dark die.
I won't go for Devil's Bargain because I don't think I should. I have a bad feeling about this. So I'll just roll one die for now and see. Maybe I'll re-roll afterwards with some dark dice.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, good luck.
That's not good. I don't like it. I will re-roll
What'd you
with dark die then. That's not good. Boop.
What'd you get?
3 in the
Oh, there
light,
it is.
2 in the
Oh
dark.
dear.
So that's still not very good.
Yeah, so you're that's not very good. You want to re-roll
with
again?
another-
It's two dark
Of
die.
course. They keep moving.
Oh my god. Okay.
I did ask before we went online, like, should we add more dark dice?
I'll keep adding if you want to keep adding.
Okay, this
I'm not
time
gonna
the dark
stop
is
you.
higher, but it's a 5.
All right, yeah. So five is still a success, but it counts as a ruin roll. So yeah, bump your ruin up by 1.
Succeed with the complication.
Yeah, but you still succeed with a complication. So the complication is that yeah. So you'll navigate kind of your way, and you'll see like a wall, like just like this weird jagged wall in the distance, where like you can get your bearings, as you probably could guess. The swarm of this like just buzzing wasps and bees. It's a collection. That's a weird thing as well. It's a swarm of different types of bugs, as they all kind of start to press around you. So the complication is when you turn back, one of your two companions is farther from you than you thought, and they're going to be cut off in the swarm. And tell me who it is that's going to. Well, tell me the one you are going to try and get to the wall first.
So wait, to say who's a little farther behind or who isn't?
Actually, no, I'll amend that and say that who is the one you're going to go for before the swarm kind of gets in, because it's going to get one of them. But who are the one you're going to go for first?
I think Jacinto, and I can reason that. I think Alicia has been kind of quiet, so I probably haven't noticed this farther behind. Well, Jacinto is probably like, ew, these bugs, and like, yeah.
You can hear him sputtering because he can't learn to keep his mouth shut and not inhale all these little thingies, flies.
So tell me, Sybil, how do you get like you and Jacinto to like this wall?
Just basically drag him. Hold his hand and come on. Stop slowing down. It's just bugs. They don't do anything bad, except for this one, and I remove another poisonous one.
Nice. So Eliseo, you see, you have a split second of seeing Jacinto and Sybil Sybil rescue Jacinto as like this swarm kind of like just starts flooding around you, and you can feel like the little pock marks. Just you can feel the 1,000 cuts of insects kind of swarming around you. What do you do?
I'm going to bat them away as best I can with my hands and attempt to run from them.
Right. Would you say you're doing it in a graceful manner?
I'm as graceful as possible under the circumstances, I think.
Yeah, look, that's the thing with me. I don't know if I'm right to GM this game because I'm just nice. Running from bugs always works. Yeah, I'll let you have that. Sure, you're a trained dancer. You've got cardio. You've got you've powered your way through like thigh burns and muscles that are like why did you tighten me up this badly? So
Cool.
yeah. Give me a roll then. Risk this for me. So you get one.
I think I'm going to add a dark die here because I think I am risking my mind and/or body because this is kind of creepy.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's a 4 as my highest, and that is on the sorry. Yeah, I'm going to stick with that.
Dark die is higher than. Okay, cool. So, is your dark die higher than your current roll?
No, my light die is higher still. Just.
Oh yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Just about. Okay. All right. So yeah, you'll describe to me how you get to like the other two at this wall. Is it just like going that way?
Yeah, I think he runs quickly, but kind of sure-footedly across the sort of the floor of the forest, and certainly mostly outruns the swarm as it's moving as an entity. I think probably he's still got quite a few insects crawling on him and around him, but yeah. He gets away from the main body of the swarm itself.
Yeah, I think what happens is you get to this wall, and it's like it's probably not as tall as probably expected. Like good thing Sybil managed to see that, but it's like just quite to your torso this wall, and there's like a line of like moss covered rocks on top of the wall, and I think when you run up to it, so when you run up to them, Eliseo, you just kind of overshoot a bit, and your hand kind of like goes to one of the stones, and you can feel like through the moss, the disgusting swampy moss, that this stone is surprisingly, it's carved into an orb, but you kind of jostle it from its place. You can see it actually moves, and when you move it, the wall starts moaning. It's like suddenly there's this cacophony. It adds to the buzzing and to the slithering. There's this like just soft undulating chorus of moaning coming from the wall, and words kind of like snatch in and out of it, and this noise just overpowers like the three of you. And I think we've reached an hour. So let's take a break. We've actually reached more than an hour because there was a bit of delay, but let's take a break either way. Let's come back at the top of the hour, 10 minutes. We'll see how you get away from this moaning wall and everything else that's coming for you. So, BRB. Insects are gross, aren't they? Sorry, I was just
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah.
Insects.
I don't know. I mean, dragonflies are a bit nice, but
Yeah, some of them are cute actually. Like
Yeah,
I
but
don't know if they're insects, but tardigrades are really like the cutest things ever. And
yeah,
they're
but they're so tiny. You can see
yeah.
them.
yeah, I know. There are some
No.
cute bugs.
Yeah,
Well, the problem is all the cute ones don't want to come near you. It's always just the gross ones.
Yeah,
It's like, oh,
it's
yeah.
it's true. Oh, there are these little, I don't know what they're called in English. These tiny little bugs that have red wings with dots, and they are kind of roundish. And ladybugs, I think that's the
yeah.
word. They're cute, and they
Oh,
want to be on
yeah.
you a little at least. I
And
think they're
where?
cute.
How come they never? How come they never visit me then?
Yeah.
Is it because I'm not cute? I get it. I get it. Damn bugs.
I don't. It's probably because you live in Ireland and they're very of the Irish people. Because I don't know. I have no idea.
Isn't it too cold there for
Okay.
bugs anyway?
Yeah. That is true. It's quite cold enough here that when I first came here from the Philippines, it was weird because in the Philippines, if you leave like a mug of ice cream, you come back in 10 minutes, ants everywhere. You can't be doing that. But here,
Yeah.
like I can leave like a mug of ice cream for like a week, and I wouldn't want to eat it, but it'll be there.
Ice cream wouldn't last a week.
Anyway, you'll find no mug. They really wouldn't. I don't want to know what will be in that mug after a week. I would rather just leave it out to the insects. All right, I have more insect stories, but I'll come in the second break. Right now, let's go back to your insect story. Okay, so Eliseo, you accidentally move this stone orb on this wall that the three of you, when you get the three of you are at the wall, you can see it just goes out through like all the brambles in the marsh. You can see it's going out to like a clearing of some sort. Yeah. So the other two, you just get there to the wall fine, and Eliseo bursts through the swarm, and as soon as he touches the wall, it starts moaning, just softly, but it adds to like the ruckus, and you can see like it's almost like something's agitating the swarm. It's convulsing in a strange manner. What do y'all do?
Put hands on my ears at first.
I want to get away from
Fair
this
enough.
wall and this weird Eliseo person who has apparently become part of a swarm. And anyway, and either they're all weird. I want to follow the wall. Walls are good. Or the
Oh, very
clearing.
good.
Or
Eliseo?
anything.
Yeah. Walls are good because they're made by folk, and you like, apparently according to the side chat, you like building stuff. So I don't know. Eliseo, how are you feeling? You're up against this. You're well, not up against, but yeah, you're up against this wall, and it's moaning at you. You feel like a pulse of not life, but like the after image of people as this wall is just that sort of like agonized sort of moaning. Sibo is covering their ears. Jacinto wants to feck off. How about you, Eliseo?
Yeah, I think I'm just going to try and grit my teeth and clamber over this moaning wall.
So like I think you see like the two of them are moving towards the clearing where the wall is kind of headed towards this rather incongruous wall. Yeah, and I noticed you noticed your ritual there. But do you want to use it when you're at 4 ruin? It's always a choice. Is Ares frozen for two of you?
I hear you. Am I frozen?
Oh, okay, cool.
Huh.
No, my internet was being slow. It's
Ah,
just it was frozen for the three of you, but I
I,
just assume it's being
yeah, we'll move on, I assume.
Yeah, but the thing with the moaning is that you see the swarming convulse, but it's convulsing in such a way that it's trying to seek out who desecrated the wall, and it's like it's in a zigzag motion is moving towards the three of you. Is what it's doing. It's like it's becoming less of just a mass of things, and it's more like just one thing. It's not 5 million bugs or 40 dragonflies. It is a swarm.
I have an anti-mosquito thing. Would that help? No. Yeah. Let's book it.
Okay.
I have such a brilliant idea now. I would light a torch because we can burn them, right? Yeah, I try to light a torch. I'm a city person. I had people do that for me actually back in the city when I was chancellor. Sub-chancellor.
Okay. All right. Yeah, do you think you have? Yeah, you obviously have torches. You're equipped for this nonsense. Do you have an occupation or background that would help you with this? Do you think?
I really don't.
I don't think lying. No.
No.
Okay, so what happens here is that I give you a devil's bargain, and you'll get one light die.
Or I could just roll.
A dark die.
Yeah, but I think yeah, I'll take a devil's bargain. Maybe I burn something with my torch.
Yeah, I think you will probably. I think when you light this, you are probably gonna when you try and waver the swarm. What's gonna happen is you'll probably accidentally singe one of your companions.
Yeah, I want to singe Eliseo.
What did Eliseo do?
Nothing, but I
touch a wall.
want David to say something.
Like ow? You want David to say ow?
if that's what he wants to say, I mean, yeah, I'll take that devil's bargain, and then I'll roll, and probably roll totally bad. No, I've rolled a 1. Hey, you know what? I'll take a dark die and re-roll. Yeah, I've got a 5 on my dark die, so my ruin goes up.
Okay.
Well,
ruined.
Moderately successful.
Okay. Hold on. Oh, die went up my sleeve. That's not where dice are meant to go unless you're a magician, and I'm not. Okay, let me just roll this. Because yeah, describe to me the heroic fire flinging actions of Jacinto Moss.
Yeah, well, Jacinto is cursing, of course, while he is lighting a torch. Then he's swallowing a bug and starts coughing while he's dancing around with a lighted torch and hitting bugs, and he isn't really looking where he's going. So I think he'll stumble into poor Eliseo and then singe him with the torch, and then try to curse some more, then swallow one bug more, and stumble towards the clearing with the torch, trying to singe away all these insects.
Yeah, and I think yes, yeah. Do you really want? Okay, I think I will acquiesce to what you want, and you will, in this frantic moment, accidentally singe Eliseo in the process. How's that feel, Eliseo? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I think Eliseo will yelp in pain and say, "By the gods, can you not be careful where you're going with that thing?"
How many bugs are you swallowing while you're shouting this?
Well, let me just roll on the conditions table, and I'll tell you what's happening to you. It's the rolling. Okay, Okay. All right. So, um, oh, actually, you know, I'll pick a different one. It's not fitting the what's happening to you. 'Cause you're swallowing. You're specifically swallowing. You swallow bugs. Ugh, it's disgusting.
A bunch of them were poisonous. I kept removing the
Yeah,
poisonous one away.
that's good. You did that. Um, yeah. Ugh. I think when you kind of like you've you've swallowed the bugs, and when you like open your mouth to like speak to Eliseo, you, as the three of you are kind of falling into the clearing, and I'm assuming Sybil, Jacinto has burned a path for the three of you to get to the clearing, so it's fine. But when Jacinto, when you open your mouth to speak to to Eliseo, you get a you get a whiff of your breath, and it smells of mold now. Like, and it's and it's prominent when even when you just open your mouth. It just there's like it's like you don't see the miasma, but it feels like, yeah, there's just a your breath is like smell. Yeah, it just smell of mold permeates to every breath, and it's ugh, it. That's with you now whenever you open your mouth. So, do you say anything to Eliseo as he as he reprimands you?
Of course I am. I mean, I burned away for all of us. Better be thankful. I burned myself. Look, and I have a slight singe on one of my sleeves. See? Great sacrifice. Does anybody of you have a whiskey or something to drink? I can't get this. I think I swallowed one of these bugs.
The guys in the back had some.
Yeah. Bleh. Thank you. Very helpful. You want to get some?
All right, so you have this clearing, and you actually notice that this clearing is like the beginning of a path, and it's quite different from the marsh you just left. Like, for one thing, the ground is solid. It's nice and solid. The trees are like back to your swampy mangrove stuff, but it's ordered and whatnot. And you see this clearing. It looks like it was cleared out by man, and there's a shrine upon this path, this opening path, and it's a shrine of one of the sisters worshipped in the Flocculent Cathedral. It's an effigy, and it's a patron saint of messengers. Who's this patron saint, Sybil? And what does the effigy look like? What's the shrine look like?
Probably an angel, a regular-looking angel with giant wings, like that are a little bigger than angels would normally have. Its name would be
Cool. Sorry, it froze up there, but yeah, I see.
yeah, I did. I saw it there. So yeah, and the name of it is Ogara. I think it's somehow connected to the god I'm looking for. Just not much is known how it's connected because long gone.
Yeah.
And beeline to it, obviously.
Yeah. What do you do when you're in front of this like shrine? Like, what's like? Do you say a prayer or an offering, or what's a ritual of some sort? What do you do?
I think I'll start a prayer to Ogara, asking for easier path.
Well, easily granted there. Yeah. Is the effigy? Do you think is it well kept? Do you think it's kind of yeah, you can probably tell this is some sort of religious path, but like, is the effigy of Ogara, how is it well kept, do you think?
I think because people pass here, and like people come to the cathedral, so people pass here, and probably everyone prays. So it's probably clean. I don't know, well kept, but it is clean because people keep moving away the plants or whatever growing on it in order to pray well. So I clean it too, obviously, if anything has grown.
Aw. Nice that Sybil found something that he'd stop for, at least for a moment. Yeah, there's I think this moment is just for Sybil, because on the path forward, when you get to the next clearing, in this, like, pilgrim's walk, there is the sister, another sister, another effigy, another shrine to a sister of the Flocculent Cathedral, and this one is the patron saint of artists. Who is it, and what does the shrine look like, Elisio?
Yeah, I think it's like it's made of stone, a stone that doesn't look native to this area, maybe some form of granite that was sort of polished once but is somewhat weathered now, and has brightly coloured moss and lichen growing up over it.
So what does the sister look like? Like, we got an angel. Is this just like a person, or
So yeah, I think it's a slightly abstract depiction. It looks like a figure in movement, but without actually having sort of a face or the like, and the sort of long flowing like scarves essentially draping down from it. The scarves, I think, are made of material which again has a sort of mold and lichen growing over it, almost like sort of a carpet of moss.
nice. What's the name of this? Does this sister have a name, or is it just a patron saint of artists to you?
I think that her name is... Yeah, her name is just Muse.
So what do you do when you see this shrine?
So I approach the shrine and sort of offer a short bow to it. And I think I go to like take a rag out from my thing, go to like clean off some of the moss on the statue, but just like a carpet that just like falls to the floor in a pile with sort of rotted fabric from what used to be the scarf, and I abandoned my efforts to do so.
It's lovely. Oh, you mentioned it has mold on it, right? It's a bit of mold because this actually goes back to to Jacinto's condition. You know how mold comes out, the smell of mold comes out of your breath, where actual mold, when you see it, it's a smell of spilled wine left to turn. So when the three of you come across the muse, yeah, that's what you smell, Jacinto. Oh well, but don't worry, you're not in discomfort for too long, because, as you probably expected, the next effigy is the sister, the patron saint of historians, and Who is it, and what's their shrine like?
The patron saint of stories is Alethea. That's her name. It's actually a shrine, so the figure is small. It's really just this big. It's an abstract kind of. It's worn down stone. You can't really distinguish any features, but what you can distinguish is on the walls around her in this tiny shrine. It's open, but there are walls, and there's writing on those walls. There used to be human writing, but now it's just some kind of lichen that is growing into words that are saying strange things. It's not really, it doesn't make any sense. It tells things about the Flocculent Cathedral and the moss that grows, strangling the light, strangling the sisters, like the worm is strangling the tree. It is strange, but it's kind of poetic even. Although Jacinto at least doesn't really recognize it. He will, of course, make a great show of cleaning part of the effigy and making a great prostration and saying some sort of prayer in ancient Kulduran, because that it sounds very impressive. But he isn't actually reading the writings on the walls. Or maybe he is, just a little, because the course is in him already.
Could you write down the name of the sister in the chat?
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh, nice. Okay, so yeah, and hopefully all of y'all were respectful to each other when each of you paid your respects to your patron saints. No back talk from anyone, because this is after all pilgrimage. And yeah, you'll notice as well, there's just you've had a reprieve from the swarms, and they've not followed, almost as if, to not allow that this part of the forest. So we'll just keep walking, and when you're gonna make your way to the end of the path, you find yourself in a more, again, back to kind of solid ground, and you find yourself at the edge of, let me just go up and make sure I'm getting this right. Yeah, you find yourself at the foot of a high waterfall, and this is like the most bucolic probably the forest has been, and you can see the sun is kind of still, it's still up in the air for some reason. It's still as high up as when you came here, so it's still muggy and sweaty, as the day started for all of you, but there's a coolness, I guess, to kind of this clearing. It's a fairly open clearing. You can kind of see, like, again, where folks have gone through, and there's this, like, high waterfall coming off this cliff, and you can feel, like, the coolness of this cold river as it thunders down into this pool, into this water pool that's tinged with a bit of green. It's just that small tinge of green on it, and you've got a moment to the three of you, as you kind of like recover from the swarms, from the biting and the gnashing. I think there is a lightheadedness kind of going through the three of you. There's a feverish quality to kind of displace, but there's a moment. But the three of you have a moment to breathe.
I probably have a moment, like, mostly I looked serious up until now, but when you see the waterfall, there's a tiny smile. Like, it's pretty, like, beautiful. But then it disappears immediately before anyone notices.
I believe that Jacinto will use the water to cool the stings of the insects a bit, at least, because greenish tinge. Okay, he won't drink it, but those bug bites, they are just itchy.
Mm-hmm. Eliseo.
Yeah, Eliseo takes a seat on sort of a rock in the clearing and pulls off his boots and shakes out some of the insects that have crawled inside, and for a moment takes off his socks and just like flexes his toes in the grass before pulling them back on again.
Nice. I think when you kind of go near the pool, you see that it's not. It doesn't feel poisonous. It feels cold. It feels cool to the touch. So you do see that there are these like tiny inside in the pool. You see there's these tiny, sickly, like albino freshwater crawfish with like oversized, twisted claws. They're kind of like scuttling at the bottom of the pool. They won't come near you at the moment. Because again, it's peaceful. So we got a moment of calm.
We probably shouldn't wait here for too long. Should carry on.
Can I poke one of the crawfish? With a stick, like.
Okay.
Just, God.
I'm
bored.
So Sybil says we need to move on, and he was stretching their toes. You're gonna poke this crawfish. Okay, make a ruin roll. Let's get that ruin up.
Everyone should make a ruin roll.
Well, they haven't seen the crawfish.
Oh, me! Yay! Cool.
You want to poke it.
It's tiny.
You're literally poking the bear.
Yeah, I've poked the bear. My ruin goes up.
Jesus. Okay. All right. Oh, I dropped that die. All right.
Yeah. Well.
No. You're not gonna get away from this. Any excuse to roll physical die, I will take. So I have more die. Okay. You God. You didn't have to poke it.
But I wanted to.
Yeah. So as you kind of poke it, the crawfish you poke kind of like almost like swiftly turns in the pool and just grabs your stick in its claws, and you can see that its face is just it's like it's stuffed with moss. It's like moss is like bursting out of its face, and in the moment when your eyes connect with wherever its eyes are meant to be, Sybil says, we need to move on. But in the middle of the sentence, what you hear is, we need to, a sound just kind of muffled, kind of like the moment you cross eyes with the crawfish, with the moss coming out of its face. And it's like your ears are suddenly being like stuffed.
I wouldn't mind now cleaning my ears, but I have my earbuds in, so it's probably not so good. But I'm trying to. What's that?
Yeah, your ears are thickly packed with like a dark green moss.
That's pretty, but is that doing in my ears? This forest is terrible. We should move on.
Yes, I just said that.
Yes, I don't know what you're saying, but we should move on.
I like Alicia was probably just watching the two of them, just like do your bullshit. I love having like quiet type. You can just judge everyone.
Yeah. I was gonna say Alicia is going to sigh and start pulling his socks and boots back on again.
Okay, but I didn't mention. Probably felt feverish, and I think as kind of like this notion of moving on kind of grips all of you suddenly. That ordeal with the swarms, all those things, all those cuts, all those like random jabbing things, injecting so many other things. I think it all simultaneously gets to you. And before like, any before it, I don't know, as before it moves up, I think all of you just kind of boom, just like falls asleep and just collapses in this clearing. And immediately each of you are kind of like, okay, I'm gonna ask each of you to give me like a snapshot of life before this forest, of your background. There's like a quick snapshot. Preferably with something that reminds you, that evokes your drive. Like, just like a quick image of what's driving you, why you're in this forest. So give a moment to think of that. Anyone who has an idea can go first while I pick up the die I dropped down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just grabbed it. Like, I got it. So, yeah, Sybil, go on.
It's pretty like quick. You see soldiers armed with shields and swords and everything come inside a temple, a big temple, a pretty temple, like a beautiful cathedral-looking temple. And you see all the priests inside, including me as one of them, being kind of stabbed or pushed aside and stuff. And then the second scene is when everything the whole entire cathedral is broken down and destroyed completely.
Yeah, I think it's an image you're familiar, but when there's a modification here. When the soldiers burst in, it's like they burst in, but they don't do it with the same efficiency. You see, they're staggering as if they're just stiffly animated. And when the doors open, this like wave of moss and lichen and vines kind of like burst into the cathedral, and you see like the soldiers like peeping out of their armor are like caterpillars and centipedes, and out of their helms is like just like it's held up by like a swarm of flies, and these like horrible protuberant like bugs serving as eyes as they come in and destroy your cathedral. The other two.
I think we see back in Yogyakarta a man in the regalia of the Chancellor of the Lyceum, which is not Jacinto. He is looking at Jacinto and he is saying, there can be no explanation for this other than that you have, oh my God, I forgot the word. Embezzled from our funds. And Jacinto's, no, this is not true. That is just an intrigue. And he is just starting to spew nonsense and accusing everybody. And then the Chancellor tells him to get out because he will be impeached and he will end his life in prison and probably in a coal mine or something, which is where he belongs.
I think as like when I'm kind of imagining you're seeing this dream like through your point of view, and whenever you turn around and you go back to the person accusing you, you see like their eyes have been replaced by mushrooms, and then you kind of whirl around, you see everyone's eyes are like sprouting like flowers and mushrooms as they look at you.
I knew it. It was an intrigue all along.
Yes, as they all kind of like throw your sins at you. As Flora
They're
goes
all
out of their face.
possessed. I knew it.
Well, I can't wait for him to get to the cathedral if he even gets that far. Elisio, what's the snapshot we see of you, of your drive, kind of?
Yeah, so I think we see Elisio is dressed in sort of like tight hose and a blousey top. He's in sort of the tiled, like what's the word? Like a balcony type thing, I guess, of a palace of some description. And down below there are a number of people who are dressed in long flowing garments, veiled with veils and the like. Not very dissimilar to the garb that the dancer at the camp earlier was wearing, but obviously in a much better state of repair. And as he looks down at them, an older woman, sort of steel grey hair pulled back into a bun, she's walking with a cane, dressed all in black, grabs him quite tightly by the arm and pulls him back and says, "That is not for you, boy."
This old woman looks exactly as as you remembered, but when she kind of pulls you away, she pulls you into a tunnel made of those bugs of that swarm, and as she kind of pulls you in, as these swirling mess of wings and stingers and mandibles, and she says, "You are not part of that life. You belong here. You do not deserve that life. This is what you deserve." And everyone wakes up. And here's the fun part. Let's see. Look. Elisio. You wake up and you see Jacinto Moss kind of getting up from near the pool. What do you see in them that's what do you see on them that's like a manifestation of the swarm? What is something that you see on Jacinto? And if you can't think of anything, feel free to roll a dark and a light die to just pick a condition, because that could be fun as well.
So yeah, I think as I see them, as they get up, I think Jacinto yawns, and like a cloud of spores drifts out of their mouth and hangs in the air. And as that happens, tiny insects flock around and feed off of the mold spores that he's exhaling.
How will it threaten your success if not kept in check?
Yeah, I think that he obviously has some form of control over these insects, or he's certainly attracting them, and I know that these insects kind of have it out for me already. So
also the whole thing with Sybil choosing to save Jacinto instead of you, and Jacinto burning you. So a lot going on there. And now he's got these insects. What the fuck? Jacinto, when you get up from your dalliance with the crawfish, that sounds far more salacious than what it actually was. You were addressing something to Sybil. What do you notice of Sybil? What manifestation is coming off him when you wake up?
What manifestation of? What of the swarm or the?
Just the malignancy of the swarm that's lingering on them.
I believe. I believe that in his hair, maybe he must notice that. He has to, because there are these bugs. They're kind of this big, and they are kind of metallic, looks actually more like some sort of decoration or something out there in his hair. And he must notice that, doesn't he? Probably does it because he's kind of vain or something. Looks stupid.
Not judgy much.
No, I'm the most unjudgy person you ever meet.
You really are. And Sybil, when you wake up, yeah, you see. We kind of go up and you get up and you look at the other two, because I'm assuming you're kind of a bit ahead of everyone, as always ahead. Your gaze falls on Eliseo, the one you didn't save, but still managed to save themselves. Oh, before that, actually, let me go back to Jacinto. We'll think about the manifestation. But for you, Jacinto, how will that manifestation threaten your success if not kept in check?
It is obvious that he is kind of trying to be a better person, of better station than he obviously is. I think he's a bit uppity. So, yeah, well, I just need to remind him that who is the leader of this expedition.
This is actually the worst person you've ever played to be. This is amazing. Yeah. All right. Yeah, and Sybil, what do you notice of Eliseo? A manifestation from the swarm.
So ever since we came out of those mountains of bugs, all of his clothes just look like they're part of the background, basically, like they're all greenish and has moth growing all over them, as if he's been here for 100 years.
Ugh. How do you think it will threaten your success if not kept in check?
I think he's becoming part of the swamp and he's going to stand in my way.
Is that why he's so quiet?
That's why he's quiet all the time. Yeah, he keeps planning in secrecy.
Okay. So the nice thing with these manifestations is that no one else notices them except for you. So if you look at the Jacinto Sybil, you won't notice the insect breath and so on and so forth. So you have a moment of you all waking up. What do you all do?
Should be going on, shouldn't we? I stretch. I feel quite rested, and it was a good dream in a way, because I was reminded of my drive.
Yes, I suppose so. We should get this over with.
Yes, come on, go chat, and I'll clap you on the shoulder.
Yeah, interesting way of putting it.
Well, yes, let's go.
Yes.
Onward. And I go onward. Some direction that I think is the right one.
And then I say, not that direction, this direction.
And I turn around and say, oh, you know where we are going better than me. I am a historian. I have read the maps. I know where I'm going.
But remember, Jacinto, you're hearing. Oh, as you're talking, you can actually feel the moss building up in your ears again as you're talking to.
Okay. Yeah.
If it's anything like headphones, you probably start yelling.
Yes, I probably am.
There's no need to yell.
Huh?
But this is...
Look, you need to speak up, dear chap. Let's go.
Okay, I think what we'll do is, if no one else, I think that's the scene. We'll take another break. Let's take 10 again. Let's come back at the unwieldy time of 21:57, or 57th minute. Terribly. No, just come back at the top of the hour. Let's just make this simple. I'll leave you a question before we go. As you're gonna make this like trek, I think you'll discover somewhere in your person amongst your gear that a loved one or friend has included a physical token to remind you of why you're here. Something like out of that memory, or unless you don't have friends, something that you just have on yourself. Think about that and come back at the top of the hour, and I want to know what they are, and then let's go deeper. See if we can get to the Flocculent Cathedral. BRB. Oh, that's not good. I'm not turning on the lights.
Yeah, I get the vibe of when Jason ran some horror things.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to just use his vibe. And the facial hair is not helping. Clearly.
Oh well, you have glasses and he doesn't, so
Yeah, I can do that thing where like you can't see my eyes. There we go.
that's creepy.
All right, I'm gonna turn on some lights. Oh. Okay, so now it looks like I'm inside some sort of I don't know. It looks like I'm inside an Oasis music video. No, yeah. Which I guess fits since you're in this kind of swampy, humid place. Much like their music. I think I mentioned talking about some sort of insect story when I just realized it's more of an insect incident than a story. Basically, my brother left this like bottle of Coke, which is like a tiny bit of Coke left, and he, as silly teenage, well, silly. He wasn't. He's not really a teenager. He's a young adult now. As one to do, he just forgets to throw it out and just leaves it there. And it's like, all right, fine, fuck it, I'm gonna throw it out. And but of course, just can't throw out a bottle. There's still a bit of Coke there. You can't just toss it to the recycling where there's still liquid. So what I did was I just unscrewed it and poured it down the sink of our yeah of our toilet. It's like, all right, that's fine, we're good. 2 hours later, ants everywhere. The tiny red ones, even.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and ever since our house is just, there are now ants. I didn't even know ants could be a thing here, but now.
Ants are the worst bug. Well, maybe mosquitoes,
Oh.
but ants are the scariest bug, as far as I'm concerned. They scare the shit out of me.
Ants are pretty bad, especially when there's a lot of them.
Yeah, they can come in the millions, and then you're like, it doesn't matter if you're a human. You're done for.
Yeah.
There are horror stories too with ants and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Real horrors, like fake real. I don't know if they're real or not, but fake real horror stories. Fake real.
Let's get back to our horror story. Actually, give me a second. This tab of mine is being a butt. Stop being a butt tab. Butt tab. Huh. I'm distracting myself. Okay. All right. Back to our sordid tale. The one detail you probably notice when you'll get back up is the sun is still up. Still up in that same position. It's still noon where you all are. Like the sun just refused to set. I don't know what's up with that.
Weird.
Yeah. So what's like a physical token you found on you? Either given by a loved one or something that like evokes that memory you dreamt of. I can imagine you could probably find this as you all set off from this clearing.
Alicio, just as they're setting off, sort of checks in his pack and looks at something in his hand before putting it back in, and we sort of see it's a ring with like obviously the like a signet ring for some noble house or other, and it's sort of tied with a just a thin silk handkerchief, so through the ring itself, and he puts it back in his pack.
Nice. Anyone else?
Oh, I've got one. It's also a ring because rings are great. he finds it, and it's a golden ring, and in the ring, set in the ring, is a big green moss agate, like a green stone, and it's the sigil ring of House Moss, which should maybe belong to his older brother, but he is quite convinced. He was always quite convinced that his father actually wanted him to have it. And finding that seems like providence to him, like he made the right choice to come here, because the ring is here. He probably, maybe some loyal servant dropped it in his pocket or something like that.
Sure, that's what he said. He tells himself. Sybil?
As I check quickly in my bag to see that I have everything, water, food, and everything, I suddenly see this piece of fabric, this cape, this red cape that I haven't seen in many, many years, and I'm like, someone put that in here, and it's like a cape that our religious order would have put on as they were doing their stuff, and I'm like, I thought all of these were burned, and I'm like, who would even put it in my bag?
Nice. So as you move on from this clearing with the water and the crawdads, the forest gets more thick and what's more gnarled as like these thick cypress trees, draped with like lots of moss, more mold and whatnot, as it kind of presses you together. It is a bit easy to get separated, just like roots as you press on. And to you, Isinto, of course, it all smells like soiled wine, as thanks to all the mold around you. I think to get through this as well as you could, I'm gonna need someone to again lead the quote unquote expedition.
I will not follow the guy with the weirdly colored beetles in his hair. Either they follow me, or well, they can go rot, I guess.
You mean get lost with you, but sure.
Ha! I am a historian, so I have done research on this.
Wait, tell me what sort of research have you done?
I took well, there was this map. It's a long story why it belonged to me, but it belongs to me. It was one of the things that I took before these ingrates drove me from my office, and that's why I'm actually here, because I found this map, and now I will orient myself on the sun. As a historian, I actually have a certain idea on how to do that. I've read a lot of books on how to do that, but I will follow the map. It's pretty clear that we have to go there, and then that has to be the remnant of the bridge, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, I'll accept that.
Cool. So I'll roll just this one, and it's a 6. Sorry.
Oh, you just rolled the 1. Okay, all right. You didn't even let me offer you anything. Okay, never mind then. That's amazing. Okay, all right. Against all odds, our dear Jacinto Moss valiantly leads you through the thick undergrowth, the networks of roots and whatnot, and leads you through it with minimal fuss. It's amazing. And it seems like his sense of direction is quite good. It's straightforward. It feels like you're making progress. So much so that like when you get to the next opening, unlike the clearing that you were before, the waterfall, where it looks like it's just a natural end to the trees, here it's another hacked out, clearly man-made sort of clearing. And the first thing you probably see is this big blooming hive, this big mound blooming from the middle of the clearing, full of holes, and you can see like just termites, crawling inside and outside of the holes, and kind of crouch around the termite mound are these 3 figures that are sitting down as if warming themselves in front of a campfire. They look like they're kitted out to be here. Like, their armor, light, easy to get through, satchels, some weapons. They look like they're here to, seek out and find adventure, so to speak. But you'll notice, like, bursting out of their skin are like hundreds upon hundreds of black and purple mushrooms, like the color of bruises, kind of like bursting out of their flesh. Sybil, you notice one of them is wearing this like soaked, rotted red cape as it gets up and spins around and looks at you, and you can see again their eyes are replaced with mushrooms. And Jacinta will notice this because this was part of their dream as well. But it opens its mouth and it says, in as best as it can, it says, Sybil.
I look at it, but I don't say a word.
You think you will succeed? Their one is dead. The cult is dead. You are dead, Sybil. And it lurches forward as like the other two kind of like the other two figures almost like just turn to look as like the cape figure lurches forward and clutching in its like in its hands. I'll just ask you straight up, Sybil. What sort of weapon did you carry to this place?
I have a sword and a knife.
Yeah, it's holding both. Like one right hand holding the sword, left hand holding up the knife. And you can see like it's almost like its fingers have putrefacted around the knife. And the other two kind of stand up, and the one to the left of your vision, you see hanging around its neck is this ring, and it's wearing like it's a bit of armor as well, but it's also wearing like soiled rags of Elysio of what you saw from like down below from your balcony back in your dream. This person's wearing like the raiment of the swirling court, and this one says to you, "Worthy, you're not worthy. Your dance ends here because you are not worthy." And it lurches as well forward. And what are you wielding as well? Because that's just what he's wielding. So, Eliseo.
I think probably the only thing I have approaching a weapon is like a walking staff.
Yeah, it's leaning against it. It's almost like moving it forward as it just gurgles worthy at you. And the one on the right, it gets up with a surety that the other two lack. And it looks at you, this mushroom-faced thing, Jacinto, and you see in its hands as it's holding. What is your weapon? What did you bring here?
I'm a historian. I'm chancellor of a university. I don't have a weapon. My weapon is the pen and my mind. And I have a dagger, of course, for backstabbing.
Of course. It points a dagger at you, and you can see it's wearing the ring that you have.
Must be a fake.
Yeah, it kind of tilts its head and it looks at you and just says, "You belong here with us, dear Moss. We came from Moss. We go back to Moss. No matter how hard you run, kin."
Excuse me? Did you say something? No, I think I'm hearing him. But I will... Well, this is clearly a fake moss because he's made up of mushrooms. Right?
Or is it?
Oh yeah. Each of you do a ruin roll because you're seeing pretty freaky. So I just
Also, why did you ask? How do you actually use a ritual?
Just use it as if you just use it. It's like a spell. Tell me what you're doing with the ritual.
I will basically stand like as those things come at us, and I'm not gonna fight them with a sword. That doesn't look like it's gonna be possible. And I just would use their repel, and I would say to them like, and if I say that name, everyone will know that, well, that's what I'm following. But in the name of the Rawan, begone, foul demons.
Okay. First, before we roll, because that's just going to be like a light die and a dark die. Before we do that, I want Joe to roll a ruin roll first. Just roll me a dark die. Let's do it one by one. So I'll get into a mess of clicking die. Start with Elisio.
Yeah, I rolled a 6, so my ruin goes up.
Okay. It was due. I'll hit you with something later. Jacinto.
Cool. I'll take that one. Rolling. And another 6. This thing can only do 6s. Hey,
Yeah,
I'm at 5. Ha.
Oh, you reached me.
Cool.
Oh, wait, I'm not at 5 yet, but I will be soon.
You will be soon. Okay, so we'll talk about that later once the consequence of that 5. Sybil, roll me ruin roll.
Ha! 2. That means
Nice.
Too low. Well, I'm way higher than the other 2, but still.
Okay.
What?
All right. So before we get to your ritual, I need to hit some folks with some conditions. Just cause. It's for fun. Elisio, you have anything to say to this gurgling thing telling you you're not worthy?
I'll just snarl and say, "Who are you to judge me, puppet?"
If mushrooms could smile, it would. But as you kind of say that and you stand your ground, you feel like your clothing and your armor, just like as you kind of move, it's not too bad. Suddenly it feels like your armor is like coated with like these like reddish like sort of tendrils. It's kind of like, just soft vines or like coral as you kind of move. It's soft, and it sways it's soft to the touch and it's kind of sways, but like, yeah, it's like all the muck that your clothes have been subjected to. It's like suddenly it's growing this like red. Ugh. All right. And for Jacinto,
You seem to have a lost heiress.
oh dear. All right. We'll give him a moment. In the meantime, I don't have any more insect stories to tell. Actually, let's not start sharing insect stories while in the middle of this insect story. I'm putting up another game of trophy. If you're interested in that. Hey, there's Ares. I just mentioned him. I'm putting up another game of this game, not this incursion specifically, but the one I'm working on for next month. Okay, so Jacinto, you when you say that what did you say again to this this fraud, this charlatan of a
It's made of mushrooms, not of moss. So
yeah, when you kind of make that yeah, just like a visible cloud of spores comes out of your mouth.
that's fine.
You're fine. You're fine. Yeah.
I own that. That's my spores. If I do that, it has to be good and okay. So yeah, my spores. Stupid mushrooms thing doesn't have spores.
Oh my god. Christ on the bike. Yeah. Okay, sure. So you've reached 5 ruin. You know you play trophy, you know what that's happened. You have now a chance if you work against them to bring down your ruin. Yeah. Can you hear me, Eris? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I can hear now. Exactly on time.
Nice. Cool. All right. So time to do a repel.
Yeah,
What this
basically
is oh, go on.
Yeah, I basically just kind of put my hand in front of them, like as a hold, and I say, I don't think you understand how important this is. Now be gone of here and stop standing in our way.
Okay. So trying to remember like how this works. Do you I'll ask the other two because they've actually run this game before as well. When you do a ritual, do you start off with a light die or no?
Unless I think you have something in your profession or background that says that you might. It's just usual roll up. I think.
Yeah.
That's my understanding too. It's you just get a unless you actually have rituals as a skill,
I have
essentially.
omens.
Omens, yeah. I don't think this is
I always say how this is the important moment.
I mean, it is a bit of an omen, I guess, to run into.
Yeah.
But the thing is, what you're trying to do is you're trying to push them away. I mean, you're trying to repel them. So I'm not sure. And the thing with ritual is you have to take a dark die anyway, and when you use a ritual. Do you want a Devil's Bargain?
I have only one dark die for now, right?
Yeah, for now, yes.
Yes. For this time, I'll take the Devil Bargain. I think I should.
Okay, so so you're gonna take this Devil's Bargain. The bargain is, you hear the sound of wings, kind of fluttering, and you hear like a gust of wind from these wings, kind of pointing you in a direction.
Okay.
If it doesn't seem like a Devil's Bargain, if you take it, things will happen.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it. Which means another white, like light die, right?
Yeah. So you got white in the dark now.
Let's hope for the best and get the.
Trying to reroll.
Am I allowed? Because my dark die is not lower than the others.
If you're unhappy with the roll, that's what it says.
You cannot reroll when the dark die is the highest die in your roll. I guess
there you
it
go.
has to be.
Yeah.
I'm not sure then.
Yeah, that's a bit ambiguous.
It is the highest. It's just not the only highest, I assume.
Yeah, it is the highest, but like the other one, the light die is also the highest. So it's not actually the highest. You know?
Yeah, but certainly people don't understand that they are both one. In case they're listening.
Yeah,
the highest.
Oh yeah, that's well. I should mention everyone watching this. Maybe Jesse. You rolled 2 1s.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you roll because technically it's not the what a weird ambiguity. It's not the highest, but it is the highest, but it's both ones. That's annoying. You can just let it stand if you want.
No, God, you're insane. That's both. How it's got both ruin and successfulness.
Well, okay, all right. Oh,
So yeah, I will add another dark one
okay.
if I can, and reroll.
I'll let you because, oh dear.
Well, it's a 4, and I'm at my 5th ruin as well.
Okay, cool. Oh god.
Good, but complications as usual.
Yeah, complications. Yeah. So, what does this look like? This repelling ritual.
Light comes out of the tips of my fingers, and something that's not usually seen. Basically, people aren't supposed to do magic.
Yeah. I think what it's going to do is, yes, it will knock down kind of like the other two for like a moment, and the one in front of you as well. But it's gonna knock it back into the termite hive that sprouted up from the campfire they're in, and it's gonna like jostle and push. It's gonna smash against it, and the termites will bloom out in like a long, big swarm coming towards the three of you.
Well done.
Thank you. Let's run.
Well, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, Elisio's definitely going to start running first this time.
Yeah, all right. So let's kind of like we'll get like let's get a quick shot of like the three of you running kind of around past them as like this termite swarm kind of like big kind of like it carries the three other adventurers and you can see like they're caught up in the swarm and their hands grabbing at the three of you. If yeah, you'll be running and you're running through like these like cypress trees, like they're the through like as you're running through the tree line, and you see like you'll see like in you see through the trees just like glints of like jade, glints of silver.
I want to do something before we get anywhere.
Okay.
Because I've read the map, right? Maybe there is some kind of creek or delve or something that I can, while we're running, maybe just jostle one of the others into that so the termites might get them and not me. And also I might reduce my ruin.
Wow, we have reached that stage, have we?
Yeah.
Tell me who you're jostling.
I'm jostling. I'm sorry, Eris, but I seem to have it out for you now. I'm jostling Sybil. I'm trying to, at least.
Sybil has just as much of a reason to ruin your day.
Imagine if the two of you just like try to
and him running ahead.
each other, and Elisio, who's just stayed at the back, biding his time. Okay, all right, okay, you don't have a occupational background for this. This does not count as lying. This is like basic exertion. So,
I do.
Yeah, no. This is Jacinto's role first. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you. Why does a messenger have wrestling? I should ask Jim that. Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to roll with the dark die, right?
Do you want to bargain?
Yes, I do want to bargain because if I roll only with the dark die, I'm out.
Elysia will notice this.
Yes, please. Cool. Sure. Let's see if I survive this. Because I'm just rolling the devil's bargain die.
Just a point. Sorry, just if answers what so when with the when you roll a dark dice in the thing, if it's the highest dice, it counts as a ruin roll. So if that roll wouldn't increase your ruin, then your ruin doesn't go up. So
yeah, but I want to roll. I'll just
I
go.
mean, no, I just thought,
yeah. Okay, so I get it.
Actually, since this is a reduction roll, actually,
roll one light die.
Roll one light die. Sorry, that's my bad. Since this is your way of reducing ruin.
Oh, okay.
And that's it.
Yeah, you don't need to roll a dark die, actually.
Okay, I'll roll the light.
So that was bargain doesn't.
Yeah, but I've got a 5, which means that I don't for all of that bullshit, I will not reduce my ruin, but it's a 5.
So what does this look like when you try to?
Yeah, I try to run in a certain direction because, as I said, there is a slight creek, or there was a creek. Maybe it's overgrown, but I remember that from my map, right? And I'm just when we're running there, and I'm presuming that Sybil is kind of following, probably running ahead. I will try to trip them or jostle them into the creek. That's just
I think
so that it could be construed as just, oh, there was this creek there. I didn't know that. Sorry.
Are the two of you, the other two, how do you respond to this as you're running from the termite wave?
As it was said, we are ahead. We've seen the creek. We know it's there. We're going to just jump.
Oh, all of you are going to go to the creek? Or Sybil is?
Jump over, like it's probably on the way. So jump over it. The Jacinto might fall. Should I wait for him and put just help him? No, I'm just gonna jump over.
Okay. All right. This creek, this blessed creek. What about you, Eliseo? Do you see what Jacinto's trying to do?
Probably not, to be honest, because I think I'm just focusing on where I'm running to, rather than what's behind me, because I know what's behind me. It's a lot of termites.
Yeah, and you can probably all of you can probably still hear their voices. You know. All right. So, this creek. I think y'all are gonna have to do something to get rid of this termite swarm and the 3 bloated things. Is it just a simple matter of like trying to get them to the creek, and then all of you like jumping over and like they'll drown into the water? Maybe.
They'll probably just not pass the water because bugs, water, I don't like it.
Yeah. If everyone else has kind of agreed on this plan. Okay.
I'm not good at jumping over creeks.
I'll help you.
No, I don't trust you. I think I will swerve and hope the termites will follow the other 2. I'll just run towards where I think the cathedral actually is.
Oh, so you're splitting off from the 2.
Sure. They don't seem very helpful.
Okay. I'm gonna say this is another reduction roll. Sounds like you're trying to offer them up to the forest.
Yeah, forest, take them.
This guy. Ah.
Yeah, and this time it's worked. Yay.
All right, producer.
I reminded guy I have a sword and a knife.
Yeah. Okay. So, Eliseo and Sybil, you're gonna be jumping over this creek. Each of you are gonna have to roll for that. For me, start with Eliseo since you're the dancer.
Yeah, sure thing. I think as I approach the creek, I leap over the up and over it, kind of in one of those classic ballet, jumps. I almost thought from it that I knew the proper word for it, but no.
A pirouette?
No, not a pirouette. The sort of like leg forwards and yeah. That wasn't very descriptive, but anyway, I will. I don't think I'm going to add a dark dice to this for the minute. I'll see how the roll goes.
You want a bargain?
Ooh, do I want a bargain? Yeah, go on then. What have you got for me?
Okay, so you jump with such a force that whatever's gonna happen, you are kind of you'll crash into the forest and you'll be separated from Sybil, but you might get rid of the termites.
Yeah, I'm willing to take that risk.
We're in essence kind of splitting the party a bit here, but yeah, go on, roll. You're too light.
That's a 5 as my highest. I think I'll stick with that. I don't think it's worth getting a dark dice involved. So yeah.
Cool. Let me just recheck this. Yeah. Okay. Here's what's gonna happen. You make your brilliant, beautiful leap, and as you kind of like, but your momentum is carrying you so far forward that when you kind of like try to get on when you try to land, you're used to like landing on like sure footing on like just proper like the stage and whatnot. But this is like this disgusting marshy ground, and as kind of like the termites kind of fall into the creek and whatnot, you are as bad things go, a twisted ankle isn't the worst, but you are gonna land worse than you probably thought. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, yeah, I think I will, curse and like rub my ankle a bit, but then just like start limping off into the forest, putting as much distance between myself and the pursuers as possible.
Yeah. So I need to see Sybil's leap now. Let's see. Let me look.
So I do have evasion.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think I'll let you have this one because this one is more like you're trying to get rid of the termites as well, and
Trying to evade them.
Yeah.
But I can make it cooler and add like a summon.
Ooh. Wait, what does that look like?
I mean, it's just like for the looks. Like I will summon the messenger sister. What did I call her? Omaga?
Gara.
Gara. And like wings will come out of me, and so it would be easier to jump it. Although it's just for flavor.
Yeah, it is just flavor at this point because you already get one light die.
Yeah.
From evasion.
Yeah, no devil for me for now.
Okay, so
Yeah.
just one light.
I guess so.
Okay.
That's the green one. Ooh, 6.
Hey, Jesus, that's very good of you. Yeah. So your leap is probably less. It's less. It's less graceful than Eligio's, but
I have wings.
well, actually, as you leap, you hear the beating of wings, and you hear like a voice go, "Almost there, my messenger." As you make your leap, and when your feet touch down, your eyes go up, and you see, and if you look around, the creek's not there behind you anymore. It's like you're at this opening, and you see this grove of gigantic, tightly packed trees, utterly overgrown with like thick layers of moss and lichen many feet thick. Like it's encrusted among the tiny gaps between the boughs of all this gigantic grove. But through the you can just make out between like the gaps. You can see like this altar of iron, smooth. And it looks like it's made of metal, not of this earth. It looks like it's shaped from something that didn't exist in this world. There's a beautiful, delicate silver candelabra, and around the altar are statues that make up the stations of the saint, and you can see yours, Ogara, wings larger than they should be amongst those statues. And I think when you look up, you'll see that Jacinto is already there. That's where you ended up when you made your run. So Sybil just appeared behind you as you've been kind of gazing into the Flocculent Cathedral. And for Eliseo, as you kind of limp into the forest, as you get lost, suddenly the world around you kind of scrunches up. The path you're going for starts kind of forming into a small, tightly packed tunnel made of like pincers and legs and insects, much like the tunnel that you saw in your dream. And you see in the distance a figure, a figure that's hard to make out. They move in ways that are abstract and strange. You can't make out their face. But as they kind of like jerk into existence with their long scarves, they kind of like offer out a hand and say, "You're close, Eliseo. You're quite close. Just go through. Just follow this tunnel, and you will make it to your trophy."
Yeah, and I think Eliseo is going to kind of lean on his walking cane, his walking staff, and sort of quicken his pace as he hurries down this incredibly unpleasant tunnel.
Oh yeah, roll. You said the words unpleasant. You have to roll now.
Yeah, that's fair. Where is it? There we go. That's a 4, which is higher than my current ruin. So yeah, my ruin goes up to 4.
Nice. Yeah, and yeah. So the passage through this tunnel is as unpleasant as you probably thought it'd be, but the swirling of the bugs, you get used to them as you kind of like speed your way through this tunnel in what feels like should have been just 5 minutes, but it just keeps going as you try to make it to this figure that is off in the distance, and it feels like you're going through, and the pain of your ankle is just too much. But and it looks like it just never ends. Blink, and you're with the two at the entrance of the Flocculent Cathedral. And you have anything to say to each other?
I always have things to say, and I say, well, it appears that we all have found the Flocculent Cathedral. Isn't it magnificent? Let's see what treasures it holds. And I'll motion Sybil to go first.
Let us hope it is worth the journey we have made for it.
Oh, I'm sure it will be. Go on then, my friend. You have deserved this.
Are they going to keep the going first? Like demons?
I open the door.
Oh, I didn't mention there was a door. There are two
Oh.
ways. There are two ways into this cathedral. I did not mention the door in any way. I just mentioned grove, trees and whatnot. There are two ways
Yeah.
into this cathedral. There you
The
see
altar.
a you can see the altar through like the cracks of the trees. You can see it. You can see the inside, but there's actually not a door where you are, even though it says the entrance. But there are two ways. One way is to climb the trees, get to. We can see at the top this bell tower. Go through the roof, basically this thatch of moss and packed leaves, to get into the tower itself, which is this massive hollow tree. That's one way. The other way is you see, kind of to your right, this pool of water, and you can see that it's feeding down inside into the cathedral itself. And you can see like it actually, it's you can probably tell it might be the creek that y'all leapt through. This creek going down underneath into the cathedral itself. It's a what you can tell, it's a twisty, like pitch black, narrow sort of journey. You're muted, Eris.
Think being able to navigate would help me there.
It probably might.
Navigate my way through the creek and into the water.
It probably will. Yeah.
Then I'll select the waterway because I don't think I'm good at climbing. I think anyone is. But I look at the other two and I say, like, let me go from here. You guys might be able to climb this. It's much safer. I'm trying to ruin them, to reduce giving them bad advice.
Hey, bro, this is the most barefaced attempt.
The water, there were those creatures inside. It doesn't seem safe. Well, the rocks.
Why are you going then to the water if it doesn't seem safe? Maybe we should all try to climb.
Oh, it's just better for me. The size. And I have armor on. It's heavy.
And that's useful while swimming in the darkness. I can see
I'm not swimming.
I can see your logic.
Yeah, I'm walking in the water. No swimming needed.
Oh, yes, of course. I have engineering. So I guess I know stuff maybe about buildings and how to get into them.
Oh, what are you trying to do?
I would like to know maybe the layout of this creek. I presume that it will turn into a sort of channel or something like that.
Oh yeah, no, you can tell that just from looking that it's a channel straight into the well of the cathedral. Or it feeds into the well, but it's gonna go inside.
Can I use this engineering to navigate that, or would that be better? Would that be more useful in climbing?
Either, honestly. It depends. Do you want to fail by falling or by drowning? That's yeah.
I
don't want Sybil to get there first.
Yeah, I choose the water though, because she did tell me, you go first. So I'm going first and through the water.
Okay. I guess I'll
You climb?
Yeah, I climb. Come on. Let's die. Let's die by falling.
Okay. Elisio, what's happening? What's up with you? You're seeing these two just God.
Yeah, I think Elisio is going to try and get through by climbing the trees as well.
With your twisted ankle.
I mean, the twisted ankle isn't great, but he's kind of done with tunnels, so the river route isn't really appealing that much at the minute.
Fair enough.
Consider I convinced them both. Can I roll that?
Roll your reduction.
Reduction roll?
Yeah, go on.
I actually convinced them. That's so weird.
It's-
If it's equal, it's not good, right?
yeah, it doesn't say if it's equal. It's only if you get less.
That's no. 5 is 5. Anyway, yeah, through the water.
Okay, another round. Yeah, you're in the well now. All right, another round of risk rolls. I'll start with our engineering expert.
Yes, I'll try to. I think I'll just roll my light die, and if that doesn't work, I'll just re-roll it.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, I've got a 5. I like that.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not trying for a 6. That's no 5
Yeah.
means I don't die, so that's fine.
Yeah, like you'll succeed on a 5, but there is a complication. The
Oh,
complication is that this, trees are taller than it probably looked, and it's taking you longer than you thought. You're not going to be first. You'll get there. You'll get inside. But you're not going to be first because look, engineering doesn't translate to the actual climbing, the actual physical exertion of trying to find footholds, trying to conserve strength. It's just not.
that's okay because he has to roll 2, right?
Yeah. Let's get Sybil's roll out of the way then before we go to our only sane person, person not caught up in the.
I'm sane. So we said navigation helps.
Yeah, navigation helps. Yeah.
I assume Devil's Bargain means I'm not the first.
Yeah. Well, do you want a bargain?
I would like to, unless it's like you're not first.
Um.
Unless it's clear that it's gonna be bad for me.
Yeah, that's the thing. Again, if anyone has like
I'm the only one without any conditions.
yeah, you should have had a condition. I should have given you one. I did roll, and I think I just forgot to give you a condition. You should have one. I'll hit you with that.
Forgotten.
Yeah. Anyone have a devil's bargain for?
Yeah, maybe he loses his weapons.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a Devil's Bargain.
Yeah,
But,
use a sword in your knife.
Sure, I'll take that. I'll take that anytime. That's
Too light?
too light for now. Not good enough. Gonna add a black one and hope it's not.
Okay.
It's not the end. um. Yeah, it's a 6, and it's the light is higher than the dark.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. That's good. You got into the shrine. So yeah, for you the journey is dark and watery and whatnot, but you've got instincts. You're grand. You'll get through like the tunnel and whatnot, and again, so in the dark, you just hear the beating of wings, as if to speed you on. All right, let's do Elisio's roll, and then we'll take one last break. And this last half hour is going to be quite something. Elisio, doing your clan?
Yeah, so I think Alicia is going to make his way, climb through the trees towards the roof and the entrance to the cathedral. I think he's not trying to get there first. He has nothing to prove. He's going to, I think, be taking his time and trying to do it carefully and cautiously. I'm thinking his observation might apply here, as he sort of tries to suss out the best route and the easiest route rather than necessarily the fastest.
Here's a random question: do you find the make of this cathedral beautiful?
Yes, I think so.
Nice. All right. Do you want a bargain?
Yeah, I'll hear what you've got to say.
Okay. Remind me again, where did you keep your ring?
In my traveling pack.
Okay, so it's not like hanging out.
No.
Yeah, that would have been nice. I think.
So
Oh God.
he can lose his traveling pack because
Yeah.
he's climbing and travel. You've ever climbed a tree with a backpack? That's not really fun.
I have a better one. You'll break a leg and you'll never be a dancer.
Ooh. You aggravate your injury. That's what it is. Your sprained ankle just gets swollen. Even though you're being deliberate and careful, it's putting pressure. This is what happens when you try to climb a thing, even with your twisted ankle.
Yeah. I don't think I'll take that one. I'll just roll the
one light.
Yep. That's a 2.
Oh boy. Do you want to reroll?
Yeah, I'll go for a reroll. It can't really make things worse.
Yeah, you ruined still.
I mean, it could put me 2-5 ruin, but
Yeah. We are nearing the end, so.
No, that's a 5 on the light dice. So
Okay, cool. All right, so we'll keep that. And yeah. Is there a rule for like even if you didn't take the devil's bargain, I can still inflict that on you as a complication? Is there a rule against that?
I don't think so. No.
No. Yeah, because you're taking your time. You're deliberate. But it's so close. There it is, the cathedral, and I think if it weren't so close, you probably would have been thinking more clear that like no, you shouldn't have been climbing on this injured ankle. But when you get up to the bell tower and you make your way down through like the thatch and the thatch roof and into the cathedral, your ankle is like on fire. It hurts. It's a pain that refuses to let go of your attention. And but even as you like touch down, you hear a voice going, "Fear not, the pain will be worth it by the end." And I think before we take our final break, Jacinto, you also made it down. I think you probably got there before. You definitely got there before Eliseo, because Eliseo took their time.
But for Eliseo, because if I had been behind them, I might have been felt compelled to push them. But I'm in front of them, so all good.
Yeah. And I think when you get down to the cathedral, you see words scrawled all over the walls, all over the statues, all over the altar, and it's made out of moss and lit lichen and all that. It's a mess of like nonsense and whatnot. But you can make out the phrase through the morass, and it's "History is yours. History is yours. History is yours."
Oh, so much yes. Please give me my history.
All right, let's take a break. It'll be a quick bio break. Back to the top of the hour, so because then we'll race through this. Oh, actually, no, five past. Sorry, 5 past. 5 past. 5 past.
5 minutes, you said.
Yes, 5 minutes past.
Okay, because I saw
I
you.
was first and I was
Yeah, I should hit you with a condition. Really, I really should. So I'm gonna do that because I think you Sybil, you have a head start over everyone. I think as you merge, sopping wet from your armor, and this kind of before everyone else, just for a moment before Isinto gets there and sees all those words, which you don't see. You don't see words. Instead, you just see the stations of the saints, these stone pews covered in moss, this altar, and this lectern with this heavy bound book sitting there. As you kind of get out of the well, wet and whatnot. Um, you feel like one of your scratches you had running through the forest, running from all the swarms and whatnot, it starts to attract this tiny cloud of persistent red gnats, just kind of poking at your skin. They're tiny enough; they're not like a big swarm, but they're there to kind of just irritate you. And again, the fluttering of wings, and it feels like a gust inside this cathedral because as you described, these wings are larger than most. You hear O'Gara's voice say, "You've come so far, dedicated one. You've been through so much. You, so faithful to Derawan. You're the only one who is righteous enough to bring us back."
Anything.
I think that's the moment that Jacinto kind of gets down from the roof and sees, words scrawled around the room. And the phrase, "History is yours. History is yours. History is yours. History is yours if you take it for yourself."
I always knew it.
And I think the words kind of start constructing sentences around you. No matter where you look, you see the next word in the next sentence as you look around. And it says, "What is history but what is written down by great men? Are you not great, Jacinto Moss?
Of course I
Are you not magnificent?"
Yes. I am.
Yeah, at this moment is when I'm imagining Sybil, you're probably walking down the pew as Jacinto's looking at all these words. And when you get down there, Eliseo, you kind of feel the world warp on your left, and you hear a voice go, "Why do you seek the swirling court, my love?"
As the ultimate expression of my art, the recognition I deserve, fame, fortune, all that.
Then why do they not bestow upon you that which you so richly deserve? Do you not deserve fame, recognition? You are so... Oh God.
Of course, but vain shrews have plotted against me throughout my career, and politics got in the way.
Perhaps what you need is inspiration, my dear. And I have nothing but inspiration. I will give you this. But I am here in this cathedral, stuck in its bones, stuck in its crypt, kept here by those who fear beauty. You must free me to gain inspiration, dear Elisio. You must free me soon.
That had been my intention. I will take you with me from this place.
You cannot free me by will alone, dear Elisio. You must free me with blood. We'll jump back to Sybil. What do you think about that? You hear again the beating of wings as from the roof, Ogara kind of like floats down in front of the altar, in front of you, Sybil, and she says, "Is this not a fine cathedral, my faithful one?
The finest.
Is this not a place where Derawan can flourish?"
It is.
I think her wings make a mighty gust, and you can, in your view, you can see the moss, the trees kind of fade, and bleeding through the fading, the fading flora is that cathedral of yours. That beautiful church from which he spread the word of Derawan. And then, but the moss reinserts itself. And Ogara looks at you sadly and says, "It could be where we could forge a church that could last millennia. But the forest resists us. Sybil, it resists our fate. It resists your conviction."
How do we burn it?
Sorry, say that again?
How do we burn it then?
"We must wash it away with blood, Sybil."
Whose blood?
She nods behind you. Jacinto. The words start spelling out. Oh, like what you need. What you need to forge your own history is proof of your greatness. But though you need not to prove it, lesser men always needs comfort. Sadly, you must give them that comfort. No, not comfort. No. You must give them proof. Proof that history is in the hands of those who are made to wield it. Are your hands made to wield history, Jacinto Moss? Are they? Are they? Are they?
Of course they are. They always have been.
Then take history, Jacinto. Take the book. The book. There. That book, sealed shut throughout all this time. It is a history of the world. A true history. A better history. Your history. Inscribe your name upon that book. And you will be immortal.
I laugh. I think I'm a bit gone by now. I will go and I will set fire to that book. I'll write my own book. Books are overrated anyway.
Wow. Okay, hold on. Okay, you're all right.
That thing does want me to read a book. I hate books.
This is amazing. You're gonna roll a ruin roll for that. You're gonna resist what Alethea is saying, telling you, for fuck's sake.
No, I've made the roll. Sadly, can I roll that again? No, probably not.
No, that's not how ruin rolls work.
Damn.
Got 6?
No, I've got a 2.
That's okay, isn't it?
Yeah,
Oh,
but
you wanted to be ruined.
I really want to go mad here.
Jesus. Well, we can keep doing this. We can keep going. Jesus. Fine.
Yeah, well, I'll burn the book anyway.
All right. You're sure you'll move them. You're gonna move. So when you look up, you see Sybil, and on that altar. Well, what Sybil is seeing is something beatific and holy. But what you're seeing is a monster on the altar. It's wearing these soiled, rotted gown. Its limbs are like made of rotted bark, and its wings, it's like a festering branch filled with insects and bugs, and it's extended this gigantic wingspan just covering this cathedral. Cut to Elisio. You're kind of behind the other two. What are you doing? As Jacinto is making their way, probably stop to see this sight. You're muted.
Yeah, so Elisio is going to begin to dance somewhat gingerly because of his injured leg, and he's sort of spinning and twirling and gesturing with his hands and the like, and he says, "Come to me, Muse, and I will paint for you a devotional tapestry in blood, and I'm going to attempt to channel Muse."
Ooh. Right. Cool. Let's see. Expression. Your I think your background.
No, so I have a ritual.
You have a ritual.
Yes.
But yeah, it's just what I'm saying. So you have a light die there.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah. Your channel Muse. Yeah. Background as an artist works really well. Well, that's the point, because she's the patron of artists. But yeah, white light and a dark die.
That's a 5 on the light die.
Hey, you're all keeping it together. That's cool. What does this look like? When you channel someone.
So yeah, I think the wind starts to pick up a little bit around Elisio as he dances, and it stirs his braid a little, and some of the strands of hair that have worked loose through his exertions throughout the days. What little bits of like loose fabric there are on his clothing sort of stirs a bit as well. And the dance he does, it's not a formal dance like the he would perform the thing, but it's an older dance back from his days in the countryside.
Cool. I think what happens when you channel Muse through this display is that as you're dancing, ripples kind of come out of you, and the cathedral, the view, as seen through everyone, just turns slightly more askew. It looks different from another point of view. It just becomes a bit more abstract. It's a bit more. Actually, no, you're the artist. Tell me how the cathedral looks as you let Muse kind of go through you.
Yeah, so the moss and the lichen and the mold that covers all the surfaces in here, it sort of shifts, and for a minute it does almost look like maybe it's just caught the breeze a little bit, the breeze that wasn't here before, and it's sort of stirring a little bit, but actually it reshapes itself into, it's abstract and it's weird, but there's a definite intention to the way that the shapes that the mold forms on the walls, and maybe the wind passing by outside sort of starts to just make those kind of weird like fluting noises as it like blows through odd cracks in the stonework, and
Nice. I think. Sorry, you rolled a 5, right?
oh yeah.
Yeah, I think. I mean, your display doesn't go unnoticed. What's going to happen is, as the cathedral changes, Sybil, you see like Ogara nod, and then suddenly her face falls and it just looks stricken, and then her hands go up to here, and she lets out this blood curdling, horrific scream as she shrieks like, "Our cathedral is being desecrated. It's being ruined. Take care, Sybil. Take care of the the unfaithful, the unworthy. They're ruining." As you can see, the cathedral change around you, Sybil, and if you turn around, you'll see Jacinto doing their thing, and Eliseo dancing up a storm. Sybil, what do you do?
You are
I yell,
muted.
I yell to them both. Do you not have faith?
Of course I have faith. All hail High Priest Sybil. And I'm good at lying. Sounds honest.
I think I will give it what it wants. And I look for my sword and knife, and they're not on me.
Oh yeah, they're not there.
No, and I'm like, I look at my hands. But if it has to be this way,
Oh.
and I don't really consider what's his name? I can't just into any threat because it's pointless and useless. So I'll go straight for the dancing guy.
Oh shit.
Um,
I'm staying back and letting these two faithful typees hash it out. For the moment, I'm looking for the jewel bones.
Okay,
No.
let's settle Sybil's thing first.
Yeah, I have wrestling, and I want to use the summon ritual in order to summon his spirit out of him and into me.
Oh, you want to summon the spirit out of it
Because why
by
not?
putting him in a chokehold?
Like, just come to him as I like to choke
your
it.
audio's off.
My
I
audio?
can't hear you.
Ugh.
Wait. I can hear him.
Oh, you can hear me?
That's
Yes.
my bad. My earphone cut out for a moment, so I couldn't hear anyone.
So yeah,
That's my bad.
I go to him with a punch and a choke, and my attempt is to just drag out that stupid spirit that's inside of him that's ruining everything.
Okay.
And him.
That's a dark. I'll give you a light and a dark die for that. Well, you have to have a dark die because you're using a summon ritual.
Of course. And sure, any insane devil bargains.
Oh my god.
Because it's obviously not really my god. So anything.
Yeah, I think Eliseo will have a chance if you take. Oh, sorry, Eliseo, you have something?
Yeah.
Mine was going to be very similar. Actually, was that in the struggle, I just rake my hands down his face and draw blood.
Yeah. So that's gonna happen if you take the bargain.
Although if I succeed, what happens?
You summon the spirit out. Yeah, that because your action isn't to kill him; it's to summon the spirit out. So, yeah, you're gonna take that bargain.
Yeah, time for some blood.
Okay.
I mean, we'll see.
3 light and 1 dark.
2 light.
Oh, 2 light. Sorry, nobody gets 3. That's ridiculous. What? 4.
It's okay, but I'm gonna add another dark one and then reroll.
Okay, all right. We are at that
I
point.
wanted 6. I really do.
Everyone wants the 6. 6 is the best part when you lose yourself.
Exactly. Got a 6 on the light die.
Okay.
I'm
right.
gonna rip you all into pieces.
Okay, so this is what's gonna happen. Because I'm gonna make you have to roll a ruin roll. Because in the struggle, in the kerfuffle, the struggle, kerfuffle makes it sound weak. Yeah, even as your eyes are raked by Eliseo, you're drawing this thing out of him, this thing that he believes to be his patron, his god. It might be, who knows? But this like abstract thing, and it's when it's coming out of him, this like faceless, scarved, strange, herky jerky, almost like a living gif sort of spirit, and it enters in you, and you can kind of as it goes into you like face first. Roll me a ruin roll, because this isn't your god, this isn't your patron, this is something else. All right, let me read out what happens when you roll 6, when you get the 6 ruin. Just for the benefit of anyone watching, when your ruin reaches 6, you lose yourself to the wilds that have been growing inside you, and you become a twisted monstrosity in service to the forest. This is an important moment. Everyone focuses on your last flashes of lucidity before you either run screaming into the forest's depths or turn violently against your fellow treasure hunters. So what happened here, Sybil?
Too late there. I already turned against my fellow treasure. I'll try to rip them into pieces. Both of them, one by one. But
Yeah. Well,
we'll
yeah.
see if I succeeded by their failures.
Well, no, your character is not mine, so
Exactly. If they fell.
So I think I want to know, like, what does it look like when you like become one with the forest? What does Sybil kind of like turn into?
I think the creature that names that Jacinto saw behind me, that the creature with the big giant ugly wings, is slowly I become that. I have growths coming out, becomes like wings, and my hands become like foresty giant things, and I become a giant monster. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Okay. Before we get to Elisio's response to that, and I think this is a weird herky jerky monster because again, you've got this spirit in you as well, and so the thing that was once Sybil is as it's growing its wings, it's moving in and out of space in a way that it feels like it shouldn't be in the space. So Jacinto, we'll get you. The words. Oh, go on.
I have a ritual that hides me from spirits. Would that thing classify as a spirit? Can I use my ritual to hide myself? Because I don't want to. I think it's fine if it rips apart Eliseo. I don't like Eliseo that much, but I don't want to be ripped apart.
Okay, all right. Let's do this ritual. Is this a form of lying?
Yeah, I think actually I can spin that.
Unless you just want to roll a dark die.
No, I don't just want to roll a dark die. I just want to. Okay, so this is a form of lying because I'm obscuring myself, right? So I'm kind of doing the thing where I melt. Well, I'm muddy already, right? And I have this mask coming out of my stupid ears, and I'll just pretend to be some sort of decoration right now of the cathedral, and I am trying to. I would accept the devil's bargain anyway.
Okay. I think because you're drawing in, when you're trying to like perform this ritual, I think what's gonna happen is, ooh. Oh, what's gonna happen is, because you're such in a space where everything is sort of happening. If this succeeds, not only will you be obscured, but actually no, that's a terrible bargain. Let's change that. No, what's gonna happen is that those words will start translating into voice. You'll start hearing, instead of just seeing the words. You
Yes.
hear.
Oh
your
yeah.
God.
Oh yes, I like that. I mean, hearing stuff. I don't care. People have been talking at me all my life, so who cares what they say?
God, so yeah, 2 light and 1 dark.
Yeah, let's roll these. No, I think I'm going for the let's be a bit darker now.
Okay.
Well, but I've got a 5, but it's on the light die at least. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So, what does this look like when you're obscured?
I kind of stand against the wall, and there's a bit of a shadow, and then I speak a few words that I've learned. I won't say now where I've learned them, but it was totally legal and allowed, and anyway, they wanted me to do that. And I'm kind of melt into the landscape, like I'm an outcropping or an overgrown statue or something. It's not something important. It's just something you'd overlook.
Yeah. I think the words start growing on you.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
My words on me.
They're not your words though. They're the words. No,
They're totally my words.
Yeah, they're Jesus Christ. This is, oh my God. Yeah, and then you're, yeah, the words gonna be, you hear the voice, yeah, this staccato voice going like, what does it say? It says, history could have been yours. It could be. It could still be. But if you do this, if you do what you're doing, history is no one's. History will be everyone's. It won't be yours. No matter what you think, all you will be is your own little story. Trapped here, trapped where nothing matters. Because you choose to not matter. You will be just no one.
Oh, shut up, voice. You don't know what I'm planning.
Eliseo, you're in between. You've lost your muse. You've got this thing in front of you. Is it time to? Is it time to book it, or what do you do?
Yeah. So I think taking the blood on my fingers, I'm going to trace a protective symbol on my forehead, and yeah, make my exit as sharply as possible.
Okay. Nice. You're activating your symbols there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blood has been. Some blood has been shed.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you got 1 light.
Yep. I'm gonna take the dark die straight up because I figure I'm effectively, well, risking mind and body / doing a sort of ritual-esque thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a devil's bargain or
Yeah, I have a bit. That's the summoning that Sybil did. Yeah, it's a 2-way street. You invoke a ritual, you invoke magic, you invoke something otherworldly into this. You will get back a bit of a spirit. It's probably not news, but you'll get a bit of whatever the hell was bedeviling Sybil.
Yeah, that sounds good. I like that.
Cool. So yeah, two light and one dark.
That's a
Hey!
6 on the light.
Jesus. So yeah, tell me how you get out of this place.
Yeah, so I think I draw this symbol like on my forehead, and the creature that was Sybil reaches for me, but like its claws just sort of pass through me almost as I and with that I turn, and I mean run is probably slightly too agile a term for it, but I hobble at speed from the temple. I think this time I think I think maybe find like one of those a fissure in the wall that like we didn't see from the outside, but lets me sort of slip out as I run out back into the swamp.
Yeah, I think as you run, you hear the beating of wings in your mind. And we'll catch up to what happened to Eliseo at the end there. I think I'll let you get out of here. It's fine. Did you get what you want? I don't know. But we'll see.
So your voice has dropped quite quiet. I don't know if.
Oh, that's just me being quiet, I think.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah, I think so. Hold on, let me bump up the gain in this mic a bit. There we go. Yeah. So as you kind of squeeze through this fissure, just mentioned, yeah, you hear the sound of wings beating in the air in your mind, and yeah, we'll see what happened to Eliseo at the end. You managed to get out of there, which is good. But Jacinto, you're gone.
Yeah, well, I still want my treasure.
What was the treasure you were looking for? Jeweled skeletons?
Yes, of course. That's what the history books said. That's what I'm going to get, because I can't. Those people outside, they won't understand that this is my history. If I come back and tell them, hey, I've got moss growing out of my ears, that won't work. So I have to get my bones.
I think when you think that, the words just turn to like laughter all around you, just like the words, ha 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 ha, ha. And then the voice is laughing as well.
Good thing I've got moss stuffed into my ears, I guess. So, I guess I have to find my jewels. This thing won't burn, probably. Looks too wet.
You don't know unless you try.
True. Yeah, I'll try to burn it down. Seems legit I can find the bones better if this thing is gone.
God. Yeah. You had that. You have that torch as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll say engineering is trying to burn this place down.
Yes. Cool. Yeah, engineering. That's a good one. I'll try to burn this place down.
I think because you're obscured right now, so the Sybil thing is kind of like it's missed Eliseo, so it's just kind of screeching as its wings keep on growing. It's painfully not ejecting, but like painfully shooting out of its back.
Ugh. It's creepy. Fanatics. You can never trust fanatics. So I'm trying to burn this down. Anybody got a devil's bargain for me?
Yes, anyone have a bargain?
You burn with it?
Nah, that's a bit harsh.
A bit much.
You burn all the treasure.
Yeah, I'll accept that one.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, maybe there wasn't any treasure, so.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're burning down anything that could be of worth. Like, that could have been worth to some other people, but wasn't worth to you because you're blinkered.
Yeah, because yeah, that's cool. I'll take a dark die. Come on, because it would be. Oh, I've rolled a 6. Sorry,
Jesus Christ.
poor cathedral.
Poor cathedral. Yeah. Well, the thing is, you burn down a cathedral, you still need to get out. But what does this look like?
Well, what this looks like is I will. This thing looks pretty much like it's standing because there's moss growing over it, a lot of it. So I will identify a weak point, and I will find a bit of moss that's rather dry, maybe somewhere in a corner, and then I'll start to set fire to it. And once this thing burns, well, it burns. At one point, I will realize that I should maybe get out.
Yeah, I think as you kind of move, as the cathedral catches fire, the words, the voice is just throwing out every profanity in you at you as you kind of as you move. It has like one last like thing it'll show you, and it shows the fire catching up to the back of the altar, where hunched down, hiding in the altar, is this skeleton embossed with jewels. But then it catches fire.
Oh no. Damn, but jewels don't burn. So I might come back for them.
The Sybil thing screeches as you kind of run, and the voice is just saying, like, you're pathetic, you fail at everything you do, you're pampered, you're useless, you'll fail, you'll be forgotten, all that good jazz.
I will roll for a win now.
Okay.
Because that hits kind of hit her. No, it doesn't affect me at all. I rolled a 1, so whatever.
The dice are with you. Yeah.
Whatever you're saying, blah de blah. People have been saying that to me all my life, but I know that I'm the greatest person ever lived. So.
Yeah, you can't ruin yourself more than you already ruined yourself.
Huh? Sorry, I didn't get that.
You can't ruin yourself more than you have ruined yourself.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to drive a narcissist crazy, right?
Yeah. It really has been hard. All right, so let's wrap this up. Sorry, Sybil, you're stuck. I think the last we see of you is bursting out of the fire is like, this winged monstrosity taking flight.
I succeeded.
Yeah. Eliseo, what's the last we see of you?
Yeah, I think the last we see of Eliseo is back at that encampment of pilgrims, I'll say, that we first met in the swamp, drinking and dancing. Yeah.
I think every time, I think the beating of wings now is a bit more insistent, even as you're kind of dancing. Those wings will probably follow you for the rest of your life. Also, good luck getting to the court. We're having a kind of fucked up leg.
Oh yeah, no, that's not on the cards. This is his home now.
At least the forest keeps them well fed. And our darling Jacinto, bane of existence. What's the last we see of you?
Well, I think the last that we see of Jacinto is that he is talking to 3 people who all look kind of shady in different ways, and he's saying, okay, remember, it's behind the altar, and the force of it belongs to me. Take the map and trust it, and don't give in to the fucking voices in your heads.
Oh my god. That's a brutally, perfectly cynical way to end all this.
Aesthetic weapon.
Yeah. Next time on Trophy. All right, let's start this broadcast. That was a that was a roller coaster ride and a half. Thanks very much, guys, folks. You've been absolutely fantastic as always. I'm gonna stop this broadcast. Anyone who wants to check out Trophy, links down below. It's written by Jesse Ross, who's utterly fab, published by The Gauntlet on the Codex scene. It's up on Drive-Thru. Check it out. This incursion was in Codex Hunger, which eventually will be on Drive-Thru. This incursion was written by Jim Crocker. Jim likes games. Links down below to get all his stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna stop this broadcast then. Have a good night, YouTube.